Hello guys, it's Moran here. So I have a phone here. This is the iPhone 12. This is my actual primary phone. I have an Android phone which I use for applications that the Apple does not have. This phone I got it around January. It was going for around 110,000. Currently it's trading at 101. Before you even think about that amount, I want you to consider that Apple just released on the 7th of September 4 phones. That is the iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Plus, iPhone 14 Pro, and iPhone 14 Pro Max. I want you to imagine the price that the iPhone 14 Pro Max is going to go for as we go through all these products that they produced. In a brief, Apple has a way of producing products. So Apple managed to release a couple of products that we did not expect. First, for the first time in a very long time, they added an extra iPhone. So this time around, we have an iPhone 14, an iPhone 14 Plus, an iPhone 14 Pro, iPhone 14 Pro Max, 4 phones. The iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus look exactly like the iPhone 13. So are these guys trying to sell to us a product that they've already sold in the market from last year at a different price, but simply because they spoke about the camera and they spoke about the satellite SOS connectivity, something that is very interesting. So all these iPhones come with something new. They call it the crash detection. They explained that most of the crashes happening in the world right now happen when you're driving alone. So let's say you are out, let's say we are in Kenya, you are driving out, you're somewhere in between Mombasa and Nairobi, and you are all by yourself, and you get involved in a car accident or a crash. The phone will be able to say, let's assume there's no network, there's no, Safaricom doesn't have network, Telcom, Airtel, or any other service provider. The text messages will not be able to go, the photos will not be able to go to your chosen contacts for this SOS. If you do not have Wi-Fi as well, the messages will not be able to go. So what they've done, your phone will be able to connect directly to a satellite, and these contacts will be able to get your messages even when you do not have Wi-Fi or you do not have GSM connectivity network. So that is quite an improvement, and I believe that is why the iPhone is starting at $799. Something else they've managed to do perfectly with the iPhone is the dynamic island. I'm not quite 100% sure whether that is quite a new thing, because I believe I'm going to get that on my phone because I'm using iOS 16. I believe that that is something that is going to be given to a range of phones. However, if it's going to work just for iPhone 14, then that is a plus for the iPhone 14. However, according to me, the cameras look just the same. The body looks exactly the same for the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus. Now, the trick here is that the iPhone 14 is slightly smaller than the iPhone 14 Plus. So if you choose to buy the iPhone 14 Plus, that is about $100 of size or the screen. They've also spoken more about the camera, because we've not gotten this phone yet. It's not even yet in the market as you watch this video. What they spoke about is a lot is about the camera. So it turns out that the camera stays as 12 megapixel because it's a dual rear camera. The front camera also stays as 12 megapixel. This time around, they've also improved the 4K shooting capability. Remember, I shoot all my videos using 4K on this phone. Those who have watched my TikTok, those who have watched my shorts, those who have watched my reels, you know how good those videos are. I shoot using this phone. This is an iPhone 12. Now imagine what the iPhone 14 is able to do. The notch looks exactly the same as the iPhone 13, so you are basically not getting that much of a difference, but having an iPhone 14 is going to be something that probably it's something that you want to have for whatever reason. It's still shooting cinematic moving exactly like the iPhone 13. It's an awesome phone. I believe that people who are really into current and getting this phone will benefit from it big time. So what they also did with the iPhone is that now they gave us two bigger iPhones. That is the iPhone Pro, which is almost the same size as the iPhone 14, but comes with triple rear cameras. That is a 48 megapixel camera for the first time. That is the main camera. It's not all the cameras. The rest are still 12 megapixel. The iPhone 14 Pro Max is slightly bigger, but the features are the same as those of the iPhone 14 Pro. You still get to shoot better videos, better photos, but it's going to improve it, and when it's saved in your phone, it's going to be a 12 megapixel photo. Now, this means that the photos are going to be bigger, the videos are going to look better. Across all these phones, they've spoken a lot about how much they've increased the aperture, how much the phones are going to allow in more lights. Now, that's going to be crazy, considering that the iPhone has always had the best photos. The challenge still remains that once we share these photos to the other, let's say the Android, the deceased, or the late BlackBerry, or the Huawei OS, it's still going to struggle for you to see the exact quality. So the iPhone is still going to produce best content for iPhone to iPhone consumers, something that we hope one day will be squashed by the technology that we have. We do not want to see iPhone go the LG way, because they will exhaust everything they have in their ability, and if their users, decline, the sales will go down. However, iPhone has managed to really revolutionize the world of technology and smartphones, and we always look up to the Apple for giving us good products, and for the other brands to benchmark on. Speaking about other brands, there's this tweet that Samsung did immediately after the show ended for the Apple event 7th of September 2022. They told us, let us know when it falls, because most of us were expecting something a bit crazy. We did not expect the iPhone 14 to just come with the same notch. We did not expect it to be exactly almost like the iPhone 13. Now I'm saying exactly almost like the iPhone 13 because I know we, as the daily users of the iPhone, most of us do not even know why the iPhone is that expensive. Most of us don't even use all the features of the iPhone, because we do not have our own ecosystem of Apple, because the iPhone, the Apple products work better when they are all interconnected. That is, if you have the AirPod Pro, if you have the AirPods, whichever AirPod you have, of course, if you have the Watch series, from Watch series SE, from even Watch series 7, that will work perfectly. So in this case, this phone would probably work exactly like the iPhone 13. Now, there are some things that came with the iOS 16, which I do not even want to credit to the iPhone 14, because it's not an hardware thing, it's a software thing. That is something like being able to switch the focus you want at every given time. Like, for example, for me, from around 9 in the morning, my phone automatically switches to work kind of focus. From 9 to around 4:30, you will not see Instagram. You will also not see any editing tool, that is InShot. You will also not see TikTok. You will not see PUBG. You will not see all those applications that are mainly gaming or leisure applications. But immediately it gets to 4:30, my phone will automatically switch to personal focus or profile. In personal, you'll get all the games, and you'll find that something like Zoho will disappear from my applications. It will be Eden. Something like InShot will appear immediately, because I edit my videos mostly on the go. So if I'm in a Uber to work or from work, that's when I edit my videos. The shorts, of course, the longer videos, the bigger videos, I sit down almost for an hour and edit them. However, that focus, I don't want to credit it to iPhone 14. However, I want to credit Dynamic Island, which comes in iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is a bit, of course, the bigger phones. The Dynamic Island, which is, I find it to be kind of a name that's, I don't know, they could have given it a better name. But with the Dynamic Island, your notifications just look different and they stay on display. Let's say, for example, you're using an Uber and let's say you're excited, you want to know how far you are, how quick you're going to get there. It's going to be just down here. There's going to be something like a line just down here, and it's going to be showing you how far you're going. It will also show you how the traffic is, where you're heading to, or the road that you're on. If you're playing music, it's going to pop up just here, and believe it or not, that will pop up. Like right now, when it gets to around 9:30, it gets to sleep focus. I only have about 4 people that can call me when I'm on sleep focus. The rest, it will just probably, it will not notify me, of course. The phone will ring. They will feel the phone ringing, but I can't pick because it's in sleep mode. In the morning at around 6:30, whenever I just click on stop the alarm, it switches now to personal again and gives me a bit of weather and information, something like that. That is the iOS 16. That is not the iPhone 14 feature, because it's not an hardware feature. As I've mentioned before, the iPhone 14 actually has the crash detection, which is quite awesome. It actually also comes with an action camera, so now you will be able to use your iPhone 14 to shoot action videos, which has always been there in Android phones, but we do not use it even as much with Android phones. Now, this is the bit that I quite didn't really agree with. They gave us the iPhone 14 using an Bionic A15 chip. Now, that is 15 million transistors, I'm assuming, as having done IT, of course. That is 15 million transistors. The iPhone Bionic A13 is still one of the most powerful chips in the market. But then we are not even competing with the other competitors, that is the Android and the other brands. We are purely competing against ourselves. That's what Apple tells us. And they're giving us a more expensive phone than the iPhone 13 and giving us the same chipset. However, with the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max, they have actually given us the Bionic A16. Now, the Bionic A16, that is 16 billion transistors. You can just check that out and you'll know that that is quite a powerful chip. It's not going to be able, like the competitors are not going to be able to really compete with the iPhone for quite a while. The phones are still water resistant. You can just drop them in water and you can pick them up and they'll still be okay. The same charging mode, the lightning cable, the phones still do not come with a charging brick in this case. However, in Brazil, I think the Brazil government has sued Apple and they want a complete package for the iPhone. So they want first to be compensated for the iPhones that have been sold without a charging adapter, and for the iPhones being exported there to have a charging adapter and to come in Type-C. I'm wondering when the Kenyan government is going to force Apple to do the same for us. I'm waiting for that specific day. However, I can just go and file a case and have us receive a Type-C. However, I like the uniqueness of the Apple and the fact that the new products are producing from iPhone 12 to iPhone 14 Pro Max. You can just charge your phone once and it runs throughout the day. The gaming is awesome in these phones, as they've showed us, as they've told us, because we've not seen this. The most interesting thing about specifically the iPhone is the fact that for the first time, intentionally, when the iPhone was being launched, Steve Jobs never wanted the iPhone to have a SIM tray. He wanted it to run either on eSIMs or purely Wi-Fi. That is the vision that Steve Jobs had, but he was forced to have a SIM tray on the phone, which worked perfectly for the brand, of course. This time round, all the phones that are going to be sold in the USA and Canada are not going to have a SIM tray. I was wishing that this would happen to Kenyan so that Airtel, Telcom and other service providers finally give us an eSIM. What this means is that you will not have a physical SIM card. Let's see how that works out eventually, because definitely there are some people who are going to be like, no, and Apple might actually end up losing a good chunk of customers. But once we get attached to using purely eSIMs, it's even going to be harder for us to switch from Apple to Android or any other brand or operating system out there. Yeah, so that's basically it about the iPhone. I will go deep into each and every single iPhone that was released, but that is a later video. However, this must be mentioned. So they released also some other products together with the iPhone 14 series. That is the AirPod Pro. The AirPod Pro this time round, let's call it the AirPod Pro 2022. It also comes with a bigger battery, so you have about 6 hours of listening. It also has 2 times the noise cancellation that the AirPods Pro of 2021 had. That is bound to be crazy. That will be crazy. Like I've had chances to use AirPod Pros, and let me tell you, once I just try them on, I feel like cashing in all the savings I have and buying multiple of them and distributing them across all my friends who actually use iPhones. So they also managed to release a new product, that is the Watch Series Ultra. This one, we'll just call it a Watch Series Ultra 2022 because they did not give it a number. I was hoping it was going to be called Watch Series 10 Ultra or Series 10 Ultra. But they also gave us the Watch Series 8. Now, the difference between these two is that the Ultra looks a bit... Some people say it's uglier. Others said it looks a bit more compact. Others said it's a bit more mechanical. It's the G-Shock of Apple. It's even more expensive than the iPhone 14. We have the Watch Series Ultra, which is bigger, running 2000 nits display. I don't think I've mentioned this, but the iPhone 14 Pro Max has 2000 nits display. Still wondering why Samsung has not managed to give us 2000 nits display, considering that they're the ones who sell these displays to Apple. So the Ultra has 2000 nits. It has a battery that will go for 60 hours. This is the phone. This is my smartwatch. It's a small Mi Band. It's a Mi Band 3. Here, it's a Mi Band 3. It's actually being sold at 3,500 in the market. It goes for 5 days. However, Apple has decided to give us a watch that will only go for 60 hours, and it's being sold more expensive than the iPhone 14. That is how crazy it is. However, it's got features that it's faster in detecting when you're running, it's faster in detecting when you're doing things, it's got a GSM connectivity. It's just an awesome product which I prepare to talk about because I've never spoken about the watch series by Apple. However, they also gave us the Watch Series 8, which is a basic smartwatch with just a few improvements from Watch Series 7. I have a friend who actually immediately after it was released, he just went ahead and bought the Watch Series 7 because there's not that big of a difference. You can dive with it up to around 150 meters and it will be perfect. It's recording oxygen and heartbeats accurately, also pressure and all that, sugar and everything. However, the battery is a bit smaller and the features for athletes are not as much as they are with the Watch Series Ultra. That is basically what was announced by Apple on the 7th of September 2022. This footage is quite long. It might be shorter. So thank you guys for watching. I am hoping that you guys go ahead and get yourself an Apple product. Pray for me so that I also get some more too. Let's get the iPhone 14, but my advice, get the iPhone 14 Pro series. It will make a big difference. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like and subscribe.